Ring in Gypsy Days.
This was a lot better than the last Gypsy Days, so we certainly wanted that to be better. I think we went through Gypsy Days last year, and it was such a tough loss and so deflating, I think, just to the program, to everybody that was here. And then, it's just so humbling to have, whether we were 0-5 or 5-0 or 2-3, there was going to be 7,000 people here today, and that just, what that does for a football program, what that does for a group of guys, the energy that brings, it's really hard to measure that. I guess you can measure it as 42 points against Winona, because that was a defense that was playing really well, and that energy that our guys were able to have from that crowd and from the atmosphere today was unbelievable. We had an incredible group of recruits here, and that makes a difference. That it just makes a difference when they get to come and see what that is and what this feels like. That makes a difference moving forward as well. So that was huge. But today our culture won today. Last week, a week ago, our culture lost to another team's culture, and it just wasn't good enough. Not that we weren't the worst team or they weren't the better team, but our culture lost a week ago, and our focus coming back was getting that back to playing the way that we want to play, reconnecting with our identity as a team, as a program, and that's what you saw today. So as a coach, I'm always probably overly optimistic. I'm overly positive. And that's because I watch these guys every day and see the best in them. And then you try to get that out of them, that best out of them. And if you can get the best out of them, this group can beat anybody. And for me, just as an optimist, it's saying that I'm the failure if we can't pull that out of these guys all the time. And this group made a decision this week that us together and each individual was going to get their best game today. And you saw what we're capable of on both sides. Really all three phases. I think even just in the kicking game, it was great. I know we missed a field goal again, but even some of the stuff, that team had created a ton of offense on special teams, and they didn't do anything against us on special teams. And so that's just a culture and a team that rose up and said, this is who we want to be right now. And our culture and our team was just better than what they had in their locker room today.
What'd you say at halftime? I mean, the first half was pretty even. They actually had a few more yards than you did, and you just absolutely dominated.
Yeah, and I think that our team finally said, hey, we're done with losing games in the second half. Even the Mankato game that we won, we led a team back into it in the second half. And this group, that's all that was the talk in the locker room, was this ends. We're going to finish this game today. And I don't know how many times you heard it out of every guy in the locker room down there saying, we are finishing this game. And that's just, finishing a game is just a mindset, and that defensively with that energy, and then you got the crowd into it, and that just changes it. But the biggest part is when you create big plays on offense, it gets everybody into the game. And so the reality is, in the past, we haven't been able to create big explosive plays, and that's hard to generate energy. It's hard to generate moving first downs. And today we were able to do that. And I thought our offensive staff had a great plan coming out of halftime. We had a great plan all week, but we had a great plan coming out of halftime. And just that teamed with the mentality of we're not done with this. That put them to let these guys up front go rush the quarterback. And that's when we can get into that situation, we are dangerous. You do not want to be throwing the ball on us with us having a lead. That we can be pretty lethal there.
Coach, how big was that touchdown right before the half, and then consequently coming out, you get the pick, and then next thing you know, there's another set?
Yeah, the play before halftime was huge because we had kind of been hanging around, but we weren't playing that well, and yet we gave up an interception in the end zone, and so it's just like you come out of that and if you're behind and then give them the ball coming out of it was not a great situation. But I thought we had a great plan there too. Like, let's get some first downs. We got a couple first downs, worked ourselves out. We ran the ball. We had great execution. Will executed great. And we just were ready for what they were going to call. We were ready for that call right there. Will saw it. Coach Schlichty saw it. We knew that's what they were going to be in. And and Will just delivered to Dom, and Dom did the rest of it. So that's a huge momentum into going into half that we kind of hung around. But if you go into half without a lead, or if we have to punt it back and maybe they get another score there, that gets a little hairy for your team. So that was big.
Ian, tell me a little bit about your defense. I mean, they could not run the ball today on you guys. A lot of
Yeah, I mean, we speak for ourselves on the field. You know what I'm saying? We go out there and we just, trust in Coach Larson and, trust in his plan and what the staff has set out for us. And we just go out there and we just, we execute to our best of our ability. We got playmakers at every position. I don't really believe we have a weak point. Some people might say it could be this or that. But, I mean, we go out there week in and week out, and we try to do our best to hold teams. We all want goose eggs. We want a 0 on the board. Whether they score, 14, 21, whatever it is. I love this defense. This is one of the best defenses I've played in. Coming from Oklahoma State, I played with the top 3 defense in the country at the highest level of football, and I'd put this defense right up there with them. This is an incredible defense led by a great head coach, great defensive coordinator, and I couldn't ask for anything more from a defensive tackle. So.
Gavin came in, I think he was averaging $115 on the ground. He didn't get 60. What in particular did you guys were you able to do to stifle? Play hard, fast, physical football. I mean, as a defensive tackle, and I could speak for the other 3 that's out there, DNs and everything, just getting off the ball, being able to get off the ball and create, vertical penetration to slow him down before he can pick up his momentum. Because he's a great running back. He showed flashes. There were some parts where, you're like, maybe he could really get out and do this thing. But, just up front, being disruptive, and then having our, backers and DBs being able to fill those holes so he doesn't have anywhere to go. But, it all starts up front. So.
Will, almost 400 yards passing. You were just dropping dimes out there. Receivers were making plays, high-point balls. I mean, once you got going, it was just a well-oiled machine there.
Yeah, I think that's credit to Coach Schlichty and the offensive staff. They put us in positions to be really successful. And then those guys are going up to high point the ball, making plays for me. And those 5 up front, they really protected me really well. There wasn't many plays that I was on the ground. That's a really good defensive line.
And it's almost like it was contagious. Once one person made a catch, it just seemed like everybody else. I don't know how many passes you completed in a row, but it was just boom, boom, boom. Just like you could throw the ball all over the field today.
Yeah, just confidence in myself. I know the coaches got confidence in me, and I got confidence in the receivers. So just going to play confident.
Last time you played on this field, you were just kind of starting to get into that flow of the offense. I think that was kind of your coming out game. And now, talk about the difference maybe what 3 weeks can make.
Yeah, obviously playing college football, it's a lot faster than what you're used to or what you can even see in practice. So you got to buck up and play.
4 through the air, 2 on the ground. You realize those 42 points were all pretty much from you?
You can say they're all me, but there's 10 other guys on the field that made those happen.
What'd you get more satisfaction out of today? Throwing it or running it? Because on that last one, there was no way you were getting out of the end zone.
I think I like running it more, giving those 5 up front and those tight ends some satisfaction of seeing a guy go through the end zone.
Coach, you want to run it?
We want him running when he has to run. We don't necessarily want him running. Will, he's such a magician back there that there's times where I'm like, just run forward, just fall forward, Will. But he's I think that's what he brings right now is just the ability that the overall command of the offense right now is pretty good, and it just opens up some things for us to do, which they were presenting us to, and I'll tell you that offensive plan took a lot of work. It took a lot of work by everybody involved, and we dug through a ton of SDSU film from last year, from the last couple of years. We were watching spring football 21. We were watching last year's playoff. There's some playoff games and some other things that we were watching that we took and spent a lot of time, Coach Schlichty and the staff, just watching a lot of stuff that we could get him in some running situations and a lot of that was how we scored those touchdowns at the end. Those are the looks that we really wanted to get to. So that took a lot of work, and that just shows that's fun. It's like being my wife doesn't like this, but it's like being a hoarder. And when you need that one thing and that you have it, and you're like, see, this is why I keep everything, because you have this. These are the games that fuel coaches, because it took such a large amount of time to go back and find some things that we could get into, some different formations, and then it worked for us. So that was really good.
For a couple of weeks, go ahead. For a couple of weeks, second half offensively kind of stalled. Not today. I mean, it was as impressive an offensive performance. Second half.
I think what you're seeing, obviously Will is coming into his own, and he's becoming a player and grasping onto the offense and playing better too. But I think what you saw today is Ryan Schlichty's coming out party. That's what you saw today, was his evolution as a play caller coming through. And I know it's the players who make the plays, and there's no question about that. But, Ryan really had a great week. I thought he had a great command, and that's when Ryan's really good. It's when he's thinking like he's the quarterback. And today he was a quarterback and not an offensive coordinator, and that's fun. And it's got to be fun for a quarterback out there calling plays, because he's seeing it as a quarterback and not as a coach on the sideline. He's seeing it as the quarterback, and that's what I felt like. It felt like Ryan Schlichty was playing quarterback out there when he was calling plays.
One last question for me. You're halfway through the season. The first half's been kind of a mixed bag here. Some memorable wins, some disappointing defeats. 5 games left here heading into that second half. Maybe talk about that last.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's the challenge is not. You never are looking like, hey, let's run the table here, or let's do this. It just can't be like that, especially when you're sitting at 3-3. It's, can we match what we did today, this past week in our preparation? Can we match that and exceed that? Can we match our energy today? Can we match our preparation? And then can we come out and match just how we played the game here next week against Minot? That's all you can do at this point, is just do that. And we talked at the start of the week, you can't control your circumstances that you're in life. In football, it doesn't matter. Your circumstances don't matter. Those are, you can't, how you react to those circumstances, and how you can control your attitude and your preparation and your body language and your effort. That's all that really matters right now. That's super coach speak of me, which I don't usually do very often. But the reality is, that's when you're 3-3, that's just, it has to be your mindset, because you got a long way to dig yourself out of the hole.
That's the coaches speak, players speak, same thing. We're at the second half now. Everything seems to be kind of getting into place. Everybody's getting comfortable with the systems and coaches and everything. What are we looking at?
I mean, coming from a player standpoint, and the coaches harped on us at the beginning of the year. I mean, right at the first day of fall camp, the goal is to go 1-0 every week. We're not, the past is the past and the future is the future. We just have to stay in the moment, take it day by day. We want to all be 1-0 every day, really. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, leading up to the game. And obviously you want to go out there and execute. So, coming from a player standpoint, we just have to sit back and trust the coaches and play to our level of play. We'll go out there and do his part. I go out there do my part, and the other people go out there and do their part. So, obviously we want to win every game. The goal, as any football team should always be a national title. We just got to keep going out there and doing what we need to do.
I think the biggest thing for us is not to look too far forward. Every team in this conference is going to be really good. Minot's going to give us a heck of a run next week, so we got to prepare like we did this week.